Alright guys, welcome to the very first episode of the Union Settlement Cup. I'm very excited. Episode 1 is going to be the amateurs, and so first off we're going to have rank 4, the Zerg Sasquatch. He'll be fighting against rank 5, Lemonytang, the UK Terran. Rank 8 is going to be Theovide, the Swedish Terran, and rounding out the group is going to be rank 10, VoidRH. Alright, so here we are in the first game. It's going to be Theovide versus Lemonytang. Theovide, the Swedish player, will be playing against Lemonytang, and these people are actually both from EU, Lemonytang from the United Kingdom, so this should be very good. It's going to be a TVT on Daybreak. Here we go. This is going to be pretty good stuff. So I talked to both these players about what they like to do. I talked to Lemonytang. He's going to be the red player here. He likes to go mech, and on this map I feel like mech can be very strong if you get into the late game. It looks like Lemonytang promises to show a great game, so Theovide is going to go along with that. Theovide, for his part, favors bio, and so he'll be, I think he'll be advantageous if he chooses to go bio in this game. In the earlier portions of the map, those kind of 2 base pushes, you can use medevac drops from this kind of 5th, 6th base out here, and just drop right into the main. It's very easy to get a good position there if it isn't scouted. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Both players aren't opening up with anything crazy. Both players just putting down supply depots here at the top of the ramp, no kind of proxy racks, no CC first. And Theovide is just saying he'll have a hard time advancing, so he's prioritizing winning. Prio winning. That must be Swedish. Maybe it means gonna kick you in the butt, man. So Lemonytang is gonna have to watch out for that Swedish ferocity. And here we go. We have the first SCV scout going on. Looks like a little bit of pause action. Kind of annoying that they don't have this able to be removed from... Can't disable chat when you're in a replay. He had to put on his MVP hat. Lemonytang, pretty fun guy. Lemonytang actually likes to go a lot to the lands around him. He likes going to the UK lands, so if you're living in the UK, you've probably seen this guy. He has a very popular panda bear hat that I guess he puts on his head at the lands and gets some notoriety there. It looks like just a little bit of annoying. This SCV gonna be worked. Will he die? He has 5 hit points left. Lemonytang's SCV is chasing him. This kind of loss at this point of the game could be huge, but no, Lemonytang is gonna run away and not try to get that kill, which is smart. You keep your SCV alive, and oh no, he gets locked up in the base, and he's going to have a hard time getting out of here. He's going to try to attack, but it's not going to do too much. Meanwhile, back in Lemonytang's base, Theovide is getting a full-on scout, and it looks like this SCV is just kind of sitting here, not doing too much. It's going to be, oh, a total block for Lemonytang. He does not get the command center down. He's going to have to put it on the high ground, or something like that, or maybe try to move out again, try to get around the SCV. There we go. It should be able to be placed down now. If he's fast, he again misses it, and Lemonytang is forced to throw down. There it is, the CC on the high ground, and that's going to just delay it. It's, you know, it started 10 seconds later than it should have. It's not in the right position. I'll have to lift it off. That kind of stuff can really make a large difference in the end game. You can see Theovide put down his CC as well, so both players scouting very well. I always like to take a look at the APM. Both players floating around 85, jumping up to 100 now, so that should be rising as, you know, you don't have as much to do in the early game, and both players also getting out Marines. So interestingly, Lemonytang, he said he was going to go mech. He said he likes mech. He put down the double refinery, so at first we'll see what he does with this 100 gas. It should be for a factory. And in the meantime, Theovide is a little bit late. He's also throwing down the double gas, but he's getting this barracks first. And so both players are going to be a little bit different here. It's pretty interesting. And there's the factory for Lemonytang. It's going down, and Theovide is just going to defend his natural. Both players playing very reserved right now. They're not going to try to put any pressure in for a while. So we'll see how this game develops. And so a little bit of background for those while these players set up their games. It looks like another factory, double factory going down here. I really like that. So these are going to be very different Terran plays. This is the Union Settlement Cup. I'm AlphaFerg. I've started this game. It's going to be a 24. It's going to be a 48 game series for the first round, and each player is going to play 6 games total against 3 people from their division, which is randomly generated based on seeding, and from their type. So these amateurs, they're not on professional teams, but they're trying to get professional teams, they're trying to get noticed, they're trying to get some sort of sponsorship. So these guys are definitely playing for some sort of recognition, and I really like it. They're both playing very, very well. Theovide putting down his bunker here in the front. It looks like both players are now going to start getting their economies up. You can see that Theovide is just way ahead in the SCV count, which Lemonytang was trying to keep up in, and he's going to have to focus in getting some sort of lead, and it looks like he's scouting, making sure there's no thirds. So this kind of, 3cc timing, I guess. This Marine is going to be able to see whenever Theovide tries to expand, maybe even delay it by killing an SCV if it gets sent out there without any sort of protection. In the meantime, it looks like Theovide is throwing down factory. He's probably going to start going towards a starport after this. And back across the map, Lemonytang starting to chrono boost, starting to pump out double reactor Hellions, and you can see the Tech Lab is getting that infernal blue flame igniter that's going to do so much damage that he'll be able to kill SCVs very, very quickly if he gets in the base undefended. One thing that is very popular along with this, there it is, the starport. What you can do is get a medevac, and then you just drop into the main with those Hellions, bypass this entire defense here, though there are a lot of Marines on the map, and actually Theovide's getting way ahead in supply. Again, you can see this kind of SCV lead has a huge supply differential, and Theovide is going to have to... Theovide's going to be in a pretty good position here as he goes into the game. You can see Stim going down as well. The starport's about halfway done for him, and he'll want those all-important medevacs, but Lemonytang's actually getting a scary number of Hellions right now, and one thing he can do, if he keeps building Hellions like this, is he can actually drop and run in through the main with Hellions, but it looks like instead he's getting out a Raven, and he may very well be trying to do a fancy-pantsy build, man. If he can take out this base with that Raven, he can get a very nice attack going on, because the Raven provides so much support to those Hellions. If there's Marauders, the point defense drone will shoot down all the little shells and take everything out. It's going to be very good. It looks like these Hellions are just moving around the map. Man, these guys they have blue flame done. They have a very high number, so they'll be able to roast anything that is undefended. But this kind of bio ball actually does pretty well against these Hellions. But look at the Hellions, they're getting into the main. There's no bio here to defend against it. Oh my gosh, all these SCVs, they're gonna die. How many SCVs will fall? It looks like they're just being roasted to pieces, and the bio are moving out. They're not here to defend. The bio of Theovide is about halfway across the map, but here are some reinforcements coming in, taking out a handful of Hellions. But look at that damage. Let's look at the amount of workers killed. 23. Oh my gosh, that's so much damage. It did give Lemonytang such a huge lead right here. That is going to have significant effect in the late game. But one thing that Lemonytang has to worry about is right now the army for Theovide is much bigger, and you can see all of this bio moving across the map. If he pushes in at the right time before some sort of defense gets established, you can see he's starting to go towards siege tanks. Does he have siege tech? He does, so he'll be able to start raining down shells when he moves in, but will it be enough to damage the bio? It looks like Theovide is planning some sort of drop to lure the army into the main, and he's in position to just stim and run in and do a lot of damage. Here's the Raven, but it's not going to be very good in a defense. Oh my gosh, what is that? Sorry, my computer's freaking out. So here we go. It looks like here's the drop, and this is going to be able to do a ton of damage, just poking off a few SCVs. 9 down, 10, 11. A lot of these SCVs are dying, and Lemonytang is not reacting very quickly. Here comes a bunch of Hellions and the siege tank, but look at all this damage that's gone down. And Theovide is actually setting up a triple-pronged attack. Here comes a move into the main, and he's picking off a lot of the Hellions. The siege tank is doing a lot of damage, but will it be enough? No, it's already getting sniped down. There's some Hellions left alive here, but Lemonytang is actually dropping very, very deeply down in supply. It looks like the medevac is still alive here, and these units are picking off a lot, but there's not too much left to defend. Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of the supply depots here. The Hellions just, they aren't that good against bio in low numbers like that. In high numbers, they can do a lot more damage. And so Lemonytang is actually losing a lot. Here's another drop here, just going to be able to start cooking away at these production facilities. A whole bunch of add-ons get taken out. The barracks is now falling. The factories, this is really bad because any units that come out, siege tanks, they're all going to die almost immediately as they come out. And in the meantime, he's going to be supply blocked very soon. Theovide is actually just taking this game. It doesn't look like Lemonytang has anything he can fight against. He's even trying to repair the supply depot there, but GG's. Lemonytang loses the first game against Theovide. Quite an upset because Lemonytang was ranked higher than Theovide. So we'll have to see what kind of effect this has in the later games. They both have 2 more matches in the first half of the first round, so we'll see how that goes. I'll be right back with the next game. Alright, here we go into game 2. It's going to be Sasquatch, a very good player in America. He's actually just competed in MLG Anaheim and in WCS for America. I don't think he placed in the top 16 to go to the Continental Regionals. I don't know. But he definitely did very well in both tournaments, making a name for himself, so I'm excited that he's here part of our competition. And in the meantime, he's going to be against VoidRH, one of the last members for the Relentless Heroes, and this is going to be a ZVT, so I'm excited to play it. Here we go into the game. Okay, there we go, normal speed, here we go. So VoidRH is here as the blue Terran in the north, and this is going to be on Cloud Kingdom, and he will be playing against the red Zerg Sasquatch. And this is going to be interesting. Sasquatch said that he likes Ling Infestor when he plays against Terran. Terran likes to go Bio, and Ling Infestor can just lock down Bio so well. So we'll see if he chooses to use that against VoidRH. But you know what? VoidRH said that he likes to use Super Aggression. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of interested to see how this goes because Sasquatch is very highly rated. VoidRH should not be able to take him down, but if he does, that could put Void way ahead in the standings for this group. And it looks like both players are just going to play a little bit more conservatively. There's not going to be any sort of cheese. There's no Macarax going down. Just making a wall off here at the ramp. In the meantime, there's a pretty standard opening for Sasquatch. No early spawning pool on the way. Sorry, they're getting a drink. No early crazy gas, no proxy, anything. Very, very standard for both players. It's going to be very, very nice game here on Cloud Kingdom, which I like because Cloud Kingdom is, you know, a pretty good base to just get a nice 2 or 3 base economy and see what we can do with the game, you know. So here we go. So VoidRH is going to be doing pretty standard wall-in. We'll see if there's anything crazy coming out of him soon. He should be putting down a gas soon. If he's going to do any sort of tech, it looks like he's using that very smart. Just build the supply depot and finish it with this SCV when it finishes on the barracks, but you prevent any sort of scouting by putting it down at an earlier time. And Sasquatch is actually going to fast expand here, which I really like, and it looks like he throws down the spawning pool immediately once he gets back up to 200 minerals. And I really like that kind of stuff. He should be throwing down a gas as well. And yeah, so we'll kind of see how this goes. It looks like the first gas for VoidRH is getting up as well. He's throwing down his orbital command, all that good stuff that you'd like seeing out of good players. See how this game goes, man. So scouting with his Marine is very smart. If you catch an Overlord out of position, you can do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, the Overlord's way over here across the map, and he has a nice little cliff to hide out on. It has very pretty purple rocks, and it's not going to be caught, man. VoidRH looking in the wrong spot. In the meantime, we'll see what VoidRH chooses to do. It looks like throwing down a very early command center here to get this kind of fast expand going down. It looks like he's going to build it up here, and once he has the forces, maybe a lot of Marines, maybe even some sort of factory. And it looks like that's what he's planning to do. This SCV, once he has 100 gas, immediately throwing down the factory. Very smart play, and he should be able to... I like the positioning on this because you can always build a reactor here and get out those double pumped Hellions. It's going to be very nice. And Sasquatch doesn't even need to read, man. Doesn't even need to scout, throwing down the spine crawler just to fend it off. And that's going to be very nice for him. One thing to note in ZVT is that the spine crawler is very good against Hellions, but it's not so good if you're trying to spread creep because they don't move as well. Roaches are much easier to spread creep with, because you can just push out the Hellions and not have a period where you're vulnerable to a run-by, something like that. You can also do these queen builds from the new patch, and you can see 4 queens coming out for this game. So that's going to be very nice. Sasquatch will be able to defend against those Hellions with his queens. And it looks like here he's going to set up, get those double Hellions coming out. Oh my gosh, Zergling's almost getting into the main, and actually they're going to deny this factory from landing. So that's actually going to be huge. It's going to just throw off that Hellion timing. And instead he'll be forced to build 2 Marines. It looks like a second factory here is being produced, and yep, Sasquatch can totally see it. So that's going to be very beneficial for Sasquatch. He knows there's 2 factories, and you know what? That might even lead him to believe there's going to be mech play. It looks like there's double gas as well. So I wouldn't be surprised for Sasquatch to throw down a the Roach Warren as soon as he chooses to tech up. He has a few minutes before he really needs to. These Hellions aren't going to be too much of a threat for the next few minutes, but he'll want to throw down some sort of tech soon, be it a Roach Warren or a Lair or something like that. It looks like he's throwing down this hatchery, which is very smart against Hellions. You can always expand against Hellions. They're not going to do too much damage to that base as it's building. And he's throwing down a Roach Warren almost immediately after, so there's definitely going to be Roaches coming out. And VoidRH is taking this base very smart. Look at, he's throwing down the gas immediately. He's got the bunker ready, supply depot wall going in just to protect against some sort of Hellion run-in. Very smart stuff. And it looks like the first Hellions are out on the map. They're going to try to do a little bit of damage just to see what they can get away with, see if they can force some units, see if they can... Because every kill on these Hellions is just one less you have to get later in the game. So it's pretty smart to do what you can with Hellions while you have them before those high Roach numbers come out. And he has the Roach Warren complete. You can see the first Roaches are coming out, and they'll be able to push away these Hellions very easily. Looks like Queen's moving across the map here, and that's pretty smart. If he's not too careful, these Hellions will start roasting the Queens. And it looks like they're going to try working away at the Queens. Actually, that's a lot of Hellions. They might be able to take this Queen. It's already down at half health. There's some Lings to defend, and a nice transfuse there, but the Lings all get roasted. And these Hellions are going to start going to work on these Queens. It looks like the Roaches here to defend, and they'll be able to live actually a lot longer. But, oh no, the first Queen is going to fall. It's going to take so much more damage, and the second Queen falls as well. But actually, a lot of the Hellions there took damage. 2 Hellions going down, so it's not going to be too great of a trade for VoidRH, but taking out those Queens is very helpful. You can see that this base only got 1 transfuse on, and he's waiting on that second transfuse. He's supply blocked. That kind of stuff really throws the Zerg player off when you lose those kind of units early on in the game. Looks like another group of Hellions getting here, and there's some Roaches, or some drones unoffended, but unfortunately for VoidRH, not able to kill any. And these Roaches are going to be able to defend now very well. He can spread them out across his base and just wait until the mid-game now that he's on 3 bases. It looks like VoidRH is definitely going tech. He's going mech. He's throwing down all of these factories. You can see tech labs going up for the siege tanks. Throwing down the command center here. So yeah, he should throw down a armory as well very soon. But he'll be very, very strong if he starts to get these units out and just defend them adequately, get him in the right position. Siege tanks can do so much damage to Roaches, and I can't imagine he's not going to try to do that. It looks like a Roach is out here, and he's going to try to scout when this third is going down. There's a nice Overlord placement here as well. Some Hellions out here trying to see what's going on. Nothing too crazy. I really like all these upgrades for Sasquatch. He's very, very prepared. And it looks like, oh my gosh, look at this. He kind of read that kind of mech play. He saw how many Hellions there are, and he's going to use this Ventral Sax upgrade to do a lot of damage. You can drop in the main with Roaches or, you know, with Lings just to throw off the immobile mech army. And, you know, all these Hellions. Okay, the Hellions are mobile, but not as mobile as Bio. You can't really load them up into too many medevacs, that kind of stuff. You can't do drops as easily. It looks like these Hellions are going to be scouted. They're going to have Blue Flame soon, but unfortunately, Roaches actually kill Hellions pretty fast, man. And it looks like these Hellions are trying to scoot in, but they might actually be caught out. But it looks like no, they're going to run right past the Roaches, and the space is practically unoffended. The Roaches, oh no, running by. Oh my gosh, look at all of these Hellions. They're going to be able to roast these drones if they get caught, and trying to split the drones out. Oh no, they're grouped up here. Oh, so many Roaches lose their life. Another bunch take a ton of roasting. It looks like actually only 5 died, and a lot of Hellions went down. That wasn't too great for VoidRH. And now just start to look at this Roach count going up. It's already at 30. What does VoidRH have to kill? He has a bunch of siege tanks, and he's going to need them. He's going to need every single one to take out these Roaches. But you know what? Siege tanks can't fire up, man. If there's a drop in the main, it could do a lot of damage. Maybe drops in the back, that kind of stuff. This is getting pretty dangerous. The Planetary Fortress here at the third will be very good. It's going to be able to defend against Roaches, but it did totally get scouted by that earlier Roach. So this is kind of VoidRH's stand, man. If he can hold out, he can get a very strong mech, but you can see he's way behind in supply. He does have double armies pumping out those upgrades. If they get up to 3-3, they're going to be amazing. But look at this. This is kind of preparing for so much damage. There are the roaches that he wants. They're already up at 1-1, 2-2 on the way. And oh my gosh, this is interesting. Okay, so he's loading up into the Overlords, and he's going to be able to drop anywhere he wants to. And I can't help but think what you can do is actually just drop on the siege tanks and just spread out your units and do a ton of damage. There isn't much else to take care of them, and the siege tanks will start doing damage to themselves. And I think that's what he's going to do. Sasquatch is moving in here for the kill. He's going to be able to do a ton of damage. He's 80 supply up. I don't know if it's going to be enough. The siege tanks are going to start going to work, but how many roaches will die in the meantime? One siege tank going down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, so fast. So dying. There's a bunch more siege tanks down here at the low ground, but they aren't quite put in siege mode, and more roaches being dropped on top of them. Just so much damage. And this is starting to get very scary. Sasquatch is actually losing supply just as much as he's killing, but he's still very low. And oh my gosh, the SCVs are getting here to do damage. You can see how fast they're dropping, losing so many SCVs. Actually down 11, 12. All the last siege tanks are dead. There's one here on the ramp, but VoidRH is just going to GG. He's lost a full mining base. He's 100 supply behind. There's nowhere left to go, and that's going to be the game, folks. Lots of roaches here. What a great move for Sasquatch, taking out VoidRH. Going to game 3. Alright, here we go into game 3. It's going to be Lemonytang against VoidRH. VoidRH just falling to Sasquatch the Zerg, but you know what? Lemonytang also fell to Theovide the Terran, so both of these players are 0-1 right now. Let's get into the game and see what happens. So first off, it's going to be Marine Prince here is actually Lemonytang. That's his EU account, so I'll just call him Lemonytang if I can. Or Marine Prince, the same darn person. He's going to be the Terran up in the top right of the map, and he's going to be playing a TVT here against VoidRH, the blue Terran, in the bottom left. This is going to be on Entombed Valley, and I kind of like this map for TVT. It's very easy to take your natural here. It's such a short position, a short position to defend, and you can just kind of defend this and have a 2-base economy as opposed to crazy mirror match stuff, which happens. You can also set up around here and defend the entrance to your third and have a nice base there as well. So this is going to be some pretty standard stuff. It looks like now players are starting to play a little bit differently. You can see VoidRH is putting his first supply depot here to defend his mineral line. Meanwhile, it looks like Marine Prince is choosing to wall in his main. So VoidRH actually opened up with Hellions last play. He did Mass Mech, and you know what? Marine Prince, Lemonytang, did the same darn thing. So both these players are familiar with mech play and able to do it. So we'll see what ends up coming out of these players in this TVT. TVTs are very different from most other types of matchups. Marine Prince showed he tried to do a kind of crazy build. He had a Raven there, he had lots of Hellions, but it didn't quite seem to find its feet, and Theovide took advantage of that with some amazing drops against Lemonytang. So will VoidRH be able to do the same? It looks like he's choosing to go with his kind of early barracks. There's no gas down right now, which means there's not going to be an immediate factory follow-up, but you could see a CC and then a factory, that kind of stuff. Some gas can come out later, and it could still be a mech build, but probably not a 1-base mech build. And actually, both of these players are ignoring gas for now. Both players getting that orbital command. Actually, both players playing pretty much similarly right now. Let's see what the APM looks like. Just like last game, VoidRH is much, much higher than Marine Prince, but that's okay, as Marine Prince is doing the same darn thing. You don't need much APM to be doing this kind of easy stuff, and it looks like Marine Prince is throwing down a command center on the low ground, making a statement. Look at VoidRH actually going way up in the mineral count. What's he doing? He's microing this SCV about, and there he's throwing down another barracks and a command center on the low ground as well. So both these players are going to try to expand, but unfortunately this SCV is going to just die almost immediately to this Marine. Very well played for his Marine. He's got his 1 kill. He's done his job. And VoidRH trying to get his own kill as well, but you know what? It's not going to happen too easily. It doesn't happen just like that, especially because this is already gone, man. And so the scout's already back, so Marine Prince is totally safe. And if these two Marines catch up to each other, we'll see which one comes out the victor. But right now it looks like there's 3 racks coming out for VoidRH. He is going to go very heavy into bio. You don't kind of put down this many racks without focusing on it, unless you're D Apollo, in which case you immediately predict factory builds. Because you're an amazing god of casting or something like that. But it looks like Marine Prince is throwing down this factory, and he's going to start focusing on gas. You can see the double gas there. Later gas, only 1 here for VoidRH, so there's definitely going to be a focus on this Marine play for VoidRH. We'll see what kind of tech he chooses to go with. It's important to see whether you go for combat shields first or stim first, and it looks like these 3 Marines are coming out to do some damage. There are 3 Marines here for Lemonytang, and he'll be able to kill them if he sees them on the low ground, but it looks like he's not paying attention, and he loses a Marine immediately, and now it's 3 on 2. 3 on 1, and that is all she said, folks. There's only 1 Marine here, and there's going to be a lot of SCV deaths here. Going to work on the orbital command. It looks like Lemonytang is forced to pull a lot of his SCVs to defend, and one of the SCVs even goes down. That's horrible for this point in the game. And VoidRH is actually just focusing on building his bio up, man. Just 1 SCV kill can mean a ton later in the game. You can see VoidRH actually has not been focusing on his own SCV production, so he's a little bit behind. And now there's a lot of Hellions on the way. Blue Flame Hellion is coming out. VoidRH is going to do a little bit of damage, and he actually is completely denying any sort of mining here on the low ground. Meanwhile, he's getting some great mining. You can see his supply is going to start to skyrocket, and he has a lot of Marines. But will he be caught with his pants down? Here are the Hellions that he needs. And you can see he's immediately going to work roasting those Marines into the ground, kicking and screaming as they burn to death. And now Marine Prince can go back to work with his SCVs. He's going to start taking down the rocks with this 1 Marine who survived. But will the Hellions be able to get up here against these Marines? That's going to be a no, man. These 3 Hellions against that many Marines, it's not going to work. Running up here with... he even loses a Marine Hellion. That's horrible. So Marine Prince is actually pretty far behind right now. He's going to need to catch up. Both players working on Stargate technology. But if he gets enough Hellions and this Blue Flame finishes, he can power his way up there and do a lot of damage. But that's a lot of ifs, man. And he has got only a few. This harass here actually was pretty detrimental to his build. So VoidRH is way ahead in supply right now. What am I saying? Not ahead in supply. How is Marine Prince catching up? It looks like VoidRH is just not focusing too much. He's trying to transition to gas right now. So he's falling a little bit more behind, as he was behind in gas, whereas Marine Prince was trying to keep up. And now it looks like the supply is going to even up a little bit. It looks like maybe even a Banshee will come out here from Marine Prince with this tech lab here. Hellions again working at the rocks. They're not going to be doing too much damage. Looks like 3 damage each, which is pretty darn paltry, man. But both players are just sitting back and macroing right now. Looks like these Hellions are going to start rising in number, and they'll be able to roast these Marines once they move out. But until they move out, this base is basically safe. You can see this Raven is coming out, so this is the same kind of build that Marine Prince was trying to do in the previous game. We'll see if it works out the way he intended. It did not in the previous game. And here is the double armory, so there's definitely going to be a very heavy focus on mech play. I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw down maybe another factory or 2. He might be saving up for upgrades. And here comes the first Marines, and they totally get scouted, but they're not going to line up too easily. It looks like scouting the medevac as well. And now the medevac can't unload any Marines. Maybe trying to use this ledge, and it looks like, yes, he will. He'll try to kill these Hellions from the ledge. He can actually stim right now and kill a bunch of them and catch them with their pants down. But it looks like Marine Prince are going to run away. He saw the medevac or something and just moved out of the way. Looks like here's a Marine here to try to kill the dropship. Pretty smart stuff. And the Raven is completed. What's back at home? It looks like VoidRH does not have too much army back at home. And these Hellions are going to be pretty darn mobile. It looks like these rocks are finally dying to the increased fire. I've never seen rocks fall from fire, but you know what? If it works in the game, it must work in real life. This medevac's going to go right on back home. Now with tanks out on the field, once the siege tech completes, and it's going to definitely complete by the time the Hellions would be able to cross the map, this base should be pretty darn safe. It looks like VoidRH is coming out for the push. He is ahead in supply. He is way behind in SCV production, so just falling a little bit behind in that kind of stuff can mean that Lemonytang is able to catch up, and it looks like Lemonytang is now moving out. He's going to try to catch some of these Marines. And will he be able to? Oh my gosh, running right into the Marines. They all die. All of them. Every single Hellion just died right there, and that is very, very bad. Marine Prince is going to have only Hellions here to hold. It looks like he's trying to get out a first siege tank, but that is a lot to lose. And these Hellions, these Marines, they have... Oh my gosh, they have medevac support. They're taking out the missile turrets. He'll just be able to drop here on the high ground. He'll be able to drop all the way around the Hellions and just make a slow elevator push into the base. Here is the siege tank. So even if the Hellions try to get in here and roast the Marines, they're going to die very, very quickly. VoidRH is focusing so much on his upgrades though right now. He's not doing the drop very, very quickly. And that kind of delay can mean so much, especially now that the siege tank is now in position. It's moving in at the stem. Oh my gosh! 4 Marines die almost immediately. This push got delayed just so well. Just long enough for the siege tank to get in position. I feel like those kills were almost precisely what Marine Prince needed to hold. And now, you know what, VoidRH, he's not going to have as strong of a push as he wanted. The Vikings are coming out now. They're going to be able to pick away at these medevacs from the high ground. Doing a nice patrol dance right here. And it looks like some Hellions are out here trying to keep up the roasting. They killed a ton of Marines, and this siege tank is going to go down as well. It explodes. But you know what? VoidRH is setting up a third right now, and that means his income is going to be very, very strong. Look at how much money he has in comparison. Marine Prince is only setting up his expansion now, but he is spending a lot better. He's actually going to have to start focusing on building a lot of Marines, or a lot of Hellions, if he's going to continue with this mech play. And you can see that it's not too much coming out, so he's going to have to start refocusing on how he spends, I should say. And he's throwing down a lot of units right now. So this is going to go into macro mode, man. It's going to be Marine tank against Hellion tank, and these Ravens are going to be pretty nice because you can kind of throw out the auto turret. You can even use seeker missile, maybe against siege tanks to start trying to damage them if you end up researching that. It's kind of interesting to see where this goes. I haven't seen mech play, and not many people have against TVT, and I kind of like it. See how this goes. I'm going to get a quick drink of water. It looks like a ton more barracks coming up for VoidRH, and he's starting to transition into Marauders, which could be good against mech, but you got to remember that the PDDs for the Ravens can actually kill the Marauder shells, so maybe not as good as you thought, man. But in the meantime, VoidRH is going to be securing his 4th. Marine Prince is still behind, but he's keeping up in the economy. He's actually ahead in SCVs. So this expansion isn't going to do too much, but one thing you'll have is more mules, that kind of stuff. And actually just spreading out these Hellions, trying to get a scout on. This Marine's still hanging out up here. Just going to see what's going on. And this should come down to an interesting push right now. It looks like Marine Prince is actually floating a ton of minerals. He's going to have to get much better at spending if he wants to reduce those numbers. And he's just starting to get control of the map. Let's take a look at the siege tank counts. You can see Marine Prince is way up to 10. VoidRH is not even close. He only has 4. And if he pushes into these siege tanks when they're set up, he'll be able to do a ton of damage. Marine Prince will do a ton of damage, but it looks like both players are a little bit hesitant to get that kind of setup right now. Looks like this one Hellion killing the SCV and just delaying this command center. Some Marauders coming out to take care of it. And Marine Prince is starting to set up his base around the map as well. I don't know, we'll see how this goes. One thing you can do when you can start floating this many minerals, you can start just trading Hellions for units. Because one fire burst will take out a lot of these Marines. And, you know, you'll lose a few Hellions, but you have a lot of money you're not spending, man. The army is a lot more efficient in that sense. So we'll see how it goes. It looks like now setting up his own 4th, and he's got this 5th on the way. So this should be kind of an interesting standoff between the two players. The tanks here are just not going to be even close to the number, but the Marauders will be able to stem and run in and pick off a lot of the tanks for Marine Prince, but his siege tank numbers are starting to climb even higher. He's all the way up to 13. He's got another in production. And the one thing he has are these upgrades for the tech that these siege tanks just don't have in highest number. You know, 2 armor. It's not going to mean that much, but every single engagement, it's just going to be that much more efficient. And looks like here both players are fully maxed. We'll have to see when they choose to attack. It looks like this base is just a little bit undefended. It's starting to get morphed into a planetary fortress. These Hellions are going to have a little bit of fun doing some SCV hunting, taking out half the health on that one Marauder. Not too much damage here. But it looks like VoidRH is going to make his move. He's going to try to move in here and take out the 4th, but he could lose a whole lot of army if he tries to do it. There's a lot of Vikings here, man. And there's only 2 on this side for VoidRH. He's going to lose a lot of the medevacs if he chooses to engage. And don't forget, the Ravens can throw down PDD. It's not bad when you can do that kind of stuff. It looks like these SCVs just going to work. They're going to try to pick away at the siege tanks. It's not going to do too well for them, but that's okay. So both players are kind of sitting back right now. They both have losses, and another loss could mean, you know, it could mean the difference between moving into round 2, the round of 8, or going in. Here is the engagement. The PDDs are being thrown down, and all the Marauder shells are being soaked up. A lot of the bio is being eaten, but you know what? The Hellion tanks are going to start going down. Here are some more SCVs moving in here. You know what? There's not many siege tanks left. They're falling. The Vikings are even having to land and finally taking out the last of the force here. But VoidRH, Marine Prince lost a lot of SCVs there in that trade. He had to pull from this natural, so his economy is not going to be as strong. He does have this 5th though, and VoidRH is still not set up this base with any SCVs, so it's not going to be too bad. Marine Prince kind of came out ahead there, though he did lose. Both players lost a lot of their army. But a lot of Hellions now able to be produced, and actually double Banshees for Marine Prince. Where are they? They're way back here. Double Banshees, and that's not going to be bad at all, man. Even if you get Cloaking Field, it's just going to take advantage of this kind of clumped unit bio ball that Terran likes to make at this point in the game. It's going to take advantage of that. And because he'll be able to produce more siege tanks, actually getting battle cruisers? What kind of crazy world is this? Here comes another bio push. Will there be enough here to defend? The Banshees are actually going to be able to do a lot of damage. It looks like there aren't too many more Marines, and that was a much more solid hold for Marine Prince. You can see he's 50 supply up. Oh my gosh, he ran a ton of Hellions in here. They're doing so much damage. They took out a lot of workers. They're not being microed at all right now, but that's okay because they're going to be able to kill so many SCVs. Oh my gosh, they're being roasted. They're being roasty toasted, man. This is a oven bake. This is a KFC right now. These SCVs are just chickens in the eyes of Colonel Sanders' Marauder, man, Hellion, man. Even taking out one Marauder, one of the few times you'll see a Hellion take out a Marauder. The rest of the Hellions are SOL, man, but you know what? That's okay because they just roasted so many SCVs. 21, evening the numbers here for Marine Prince. And you can see he is way ahead in supply. He's even ahead in workers. He's doing very good, and he's going to be able to build a seriously scary army. And you know what's coming out, man? Battle cruisers. He's even getting Yamato cannon. This is the late game in TVT, and I don't think anyone told VoidRH he is way behind right now, and he's going to have to struggle to keep up. Once these units start going to work, there is no upgrades for the Air Force, but you know what? These tanks are 3-3, and there's so many of them. Every single shot is going to do so much damage. These bio, you can see they get roasted so fast. They're able to take out the Hellions in the downtime from the shots, but it's just going to lead to increased inefficient trading between the two players. And you can see that Marine Prince is starting to set up for the late game, setting up a lot of missile turrets and even picking off a Viking right there. I think Marine Prince has this. He's starting to be back to full. He's even getting the Behemoth Reactor, man. What is that do? I think it means that they come out able to Yamato cannon or something crazy. This is not the standard TVT, man. There are all sorts of crazy stuff going on right now, and you know what? I think that Marine Prince has it in the bag. This is the last mining base, really. This one's going to be out soon. It only has 200 on some of these. This base is all but gone. This base, the same story. So VoidRH is going to be in trouble pretty soon. He's back up to max though. But you know what? The scary bit, there's so many battle cruisers coming out, and they have the whatever this thing is, Behemoth Reactor. They're going to be just so much stronger, man. Yep, there it is. It just finished. And what VoidRH is getting battle cruisers as well. This is what kind of crazy world is this that I live in? What kind of evil hell have I landed myself in creating the tournament, man? I didn't think there was going to be battlecruisers. This game is getting pretty darn nuts. If both players get battlecruisers, it could start to be one of those late game Boxer versus Rain TVTs, man. But the actual battlecruiser numbers right now, 5 for Marine Prince, and he has 18 siege tanks against 1 siege tank and a ton of bio for VoidRH. So this is going to start to prove interesting, and I think what Marine Prince needs to do right now before these Vikings get in too high of a number for VoidRH is take out the army. But it looks like here's going to be the engagement. I wish my hockey was working, but oh my gosh, so many stuff. These Vikings are proving the PDDs are being so useful right now, and it looks like all these Vikings are still alive. The Marauders are getting in here to do a ton of damage, but they're just dying. The siege tanks are actually still alive here. The Marauders are going to move in and try to do damage, just ignore the rest of the army. Oh my gosh, 2 siege tanks in super smart positioning right here. And they're going to start going to work on these supply depots. These Marauders are practically no health, and the SCVs are going to start poking away at them, actually going to do a lot of damage. But will it be enough? No, Marauders actually a pretty good unit, man. But the battlecruisers are here to finish them off. And now it's going to be Air Terran, man. There's a ton of battlecruisers out here. 5, and there's 3 more in production. There's 9 Vikings. It looks like it's going to get pretty crazy. This one battlecruiser isn't even paying attention, but you know what? There's so many PDDs that he'll be fine for a while, and he's actually running away now. What a hero, man. Oh no, this battlecruiser gets caught, and he gets sniped almost immediately. But with these tank numbers, if he can get a nice siege and pick off these Marines, this is actually getting nuts, man. And you know what VoidRH is doing what he needs to do? He's starting to get these command centers spread out. There's actually a lot of orbital commands starting to be warped across the map, 4 of them. And here comes a huge run-in for the Marines here, but there is some Hellions that die almost immediately. But here is the rest of the army, and these Marines are going to start... they're going to have nowhere to run to, man. But they're able to stem and run ahead. They're taking out some SCVs, taking out maybe even the orbital command. No, they're just going to focus on so many SCVs dying, but the battlecruisers are what are going to change the name of this game. And you can see all of the Marines being roasted there. Roasty toasty. And Marine Prince is starting to get scary, man. He has 5 battlecruisers in production. He has 2 weapon upgrades. He has 7 battlecruisers out on the map. There's only 11 Vikings to fight, but actually it could totally work out if he manages to start taking out the Vikings, but it looks like another run by here totally fails because the mech for Marine Prince is so strong right now. Even using some of these Hellions to run around, they're going to get right up in here, and they're going to take out that base. Not going to do too much damage, but this is what's scary for him. There's even Yamato cannons ready to just poke away at that Viking number. And are there Ravens still up? It looks like there is 2 Ravens. Yeah, those Ravens are still alive, and they'll be able to PDD and take out a lot of Vikings if that eventually gets researched. It looks like VoidRH is now working on ship level 1. He's trying to take out, oh my gosh, so many Hellions roasting these SCVs and mules. They're going down to Chinatown, man. So much death and destruction raining down here on the map. 36 workers killed, 40 for VoidRH. So much damage, man. But Marine Prince is almost back to supply capped. He has so many battle cruisers. He has a ton of Vikings. He has also a large number of siege tanks. And this the Marine force, you know, they're 3-3. They're not that bad, but will it be enough? And Marine Prince, he really has a ton in the bank as well. And denying this kind of mining is what's going to keep him ahead in the game. This is going to start to get scary. Ooh, let's take a deep breath, man. And now VoidRH himself is starting to build those battle cruisers. You can see he's getting Yamato cannons. He's getting the level 3 weapons. These units are starting to get very scary. And 3-3 is actually completing for Marine Prince as we speak. But he's moving into position. He wants to take out these mining bases. If he takes out this one, it'll be so bad. Actually, that base is practically mined out. So he needs to focus here. But here is the engagement. The siege tanks are getting set up, and they're just raining death and destruction down onto the base. PDDs are saving this Air Force. Oh my gosh! So many Yamato cannon blasts going down. That is so much superior damage. And these Vikings are in pretty high numbers, but you know what? It's not going to be enough. More Yamato cannons going down. Here comes the Marines. but the siege tanks are going to be able to do a lot of damage. They've already taken out the mining base, and they're starting to get to work on these orbital commands. More Vikings getting in here, but the PDDs are doing their job. And you know what? That trade went pretty strongly in Marine Prince's favor. You can see he's actually not having to build units. He's pretty much stayed max. He didn't lose very much at all. And if he can set up down here, if he can get some Hellion run-bys in there, it looks like these Marines are starting to move out to cross the map and hit Marine Prince's base, but he is starting to move back into position where he needs to be. And they're setting up the siege tanks. Very smart. The Marines are running into position, but they're getting roasted, man. Look at how all that death and destruction. The battle cruisers are falling, but not as fast as VoidRH would like. They're cleaning up a few of the battle cruisers, but look at the supply. Marine Prince is now 100. I bit my tongue. 100 supply in the lead, and these siege tanks. VoidRH tossing out this matchup needs to be fixed. Can't really blame him. TVT, no fun at all. But you know what? VoidRH is just not able to catch up right now. Marine Prince is remaxing on Vikings and Hellions, and he's going to clean up a lot of these Marines. And even pulling SCVs to repair his damaged army. He needs to get and damage these two bases, but once he does that, it's practically GG, as VoidRH will have no economy whatsoever to speak of. In fact, he just doesn't have a lot of the SCVs over here. And VoidRH is calling out waste of his time to continue fighting, and he just leaves the game, man. That's going to be it for Game 3. Moving on to Game 4. Alright, here we are in Game 4, guys. It's going to be Sasquatch, who played so strong in Zerg in Game 2, I believe. And he's going to be playing against Theovide, the Swedish Terran. We'll see how it goes. Let's get it on, man. Oops, I turned off my music. Okay, so Sasquatch is the red Zerg. It's going to be in the bottom left of, oh my gosh, it's Cloud Kingdom, the map. And he's going to be playing against the blue Terran Theovide here in the north. It's going to be a crazy game. Both of these players are both 1-0. Theovide coming out on top of Lemonytang, despite Lemonytang being better seeded, higher rated in the ladder. And Sasquatch is a crazy killer Zerg, man. He did those crazy roach drops against the mech of Lemonytang. So we'll see how... Oh, against the mech of VoidRH. And we'll see how it goes in this game. We'll see if Theovide elects to go with a more bio approach against those roaches. You know what? Sasquatch is pretty good against mech, man. See how it goes. Sasquatch also notably playing in the MLG tournaments and doing very well at the MLG Anaheim that happened this past weekend. And so we see some pretty standard stuff. You know, the 3 drones coming out, the 9 Overlord, that kind of stuff. No crazy spawning pool. The barracks is actually being delayed a little bit as Theovide is moving his units back into position. Usually you see a 12 racks as opposed to what's going on right now, and Theovide just kind of delaying. We'll actually see if he chooses to put down a CC first, which could be very interesting on this map. There comes out an SCV, and it looks like it's going to move, yes, down on the low ground. And at this kind of point in the game, you would definitely see he's saving up the 400 minerals. It's going to be a command center. Bazoom, he's even got his mine on the money he mined before he threw down the command center. So very good stuff. But Sasquatch, for his own part, threw down an early expand as well. No spawning pool, so this is going to be a pretty safe play. What you do is you get down the command center, and then you build a barracks soon after, and you just kind of wall in, man. You can build a bunker and just be safe. Get some supply depots up in there. There you see the barracks is finished off. I like the positioning. What you can do if this base gets attacked by the Zerglings, you just lift it, and then you raise these depots, and it's just like you walled in, because Zerglings can't drag the command center back to ground to attack, man. That's what you do. It's pretty safe. And even getting 2 racks up here, we'll see if he throws down any gas. Sometimes a build like this can lead to mech play, where you throw down a lot of barracks and you just never get upgrades, or you get 1 add-on, you get a tech lab, get some upgrades, but you just boost Marines out without even a reactor. Focus all your gas on the mech play. We'll see what happens. Looks like Sasquatch's hatchery is about finished, and that's pretty darn good. He can start getting these queens out. You can see the spawning pool, 2 queens in production. So very standard timings for both players here. Now I'm going to drink some water. So Theovide right now is setting himself up very nicely. He's getting out the first Marines. You can see the command centers are going to be orbital commands very soon. He's going to get a ton of income come off those double mules. He's a little bit behind in supply, but he's fairly even. When you look at the harvester counts and the mules, it's more than enough to even it up. The queens here are going to be what's going to keep Sasquatch ahead in the game if Theovide doesn't hit, but he can be very safe for the meantime. The bunker getting put up, the supply depot walls, very safe stuff. Just building his economy, man. Gotta focus on that stuff. So the bunker's being filled up, you know, very nice. The queens here are they injected, and now they're going to start spreading the creep. I wouldn't be surprised to see another queen coming out. It looks like it's only three queens at this point in the game, but that's very fine and safe. And actually, this is going to be the 3CC build, man. He's throwing down another command center just to get another mule going, and it pays for itself in a couple minutes. And what you can do then is when you want to expand, you have the command center all ready to go. Also throwing down double gas, very smart. He's going to start focusing on his upgrades, going to start focusing on teching up, and it looks like this third hatchery is being put down as well. So what Theovide can do at this point is he can do a push off of these initial racks if he want to. If he didn't throw down this command center, obviously that push would be a lot stronger. Sometimes they could have Hellions or Marauders in there, maybe even a medevac and stim, that kind of stuff. But for now, it's just going to be very, very safe Marine play. Whereas Sasquatch is going to start trying to drone up on these 3 bases. He feels very safe right now. He has this Overlord here seeing exactly what's going on. You can see it. It's a pretty good idea of the army composition. He doesn't see shields. He only sees 3 Marines and this loaded up. So this Overlord is going to be very nice. You can see what's going on. Spreading the creep, getting his creep on. And now he's going to start droning up at his base. He's thrown down a Roach Warren. I'm not sure about that decision, but if he likes roaches, then it's totally fine. Even the Evo Chamber, what he can do is kind of do a 3-base push with the roaches and upgrades, and he should be able to get a lair very soon. Speed is already about halfway done. And it looks like Theovide, for his part, is just putting down a lot of barracks. He's getting this factory going on, even an engineering bay, to focus on the bio. So it's definitely going to be a bio build, and now his 3rd orbital command is finishing. Some Marines out here just to see what's going on. He might try to pick off an Overlord if he can find one. Oh, excuse me. And he might try to do some damage. We'll see if he actually does any against roaches. Obviously, 3 Marines aren't going to be too darn scary, but he can take the watchtowers. He can be looking around for what kind of stuff he's going to be facing, and most importantly, he'll be able to see that this 3rd base has gone down, and just that knowledge is very important to have. Meanwhile, Sasquatch is starting to focus on the drone count. He's starting to get spore crawlers, very interestingly, to defend against any sort of airplay, but you know what, there isn't any, man. There's not even a starport down. So both players are playing very, very conservatively, and Sasquatch is starting to go into macro mode. He's going to start focusing on the drone production. He's getting his upgrades going. You can see he built a ton of Overlords, and now he's going to start on roaches, and he might not even macro too hard off this 3rd base. It might be one of those 3-base timings that he's focusing on, and you know what? With melee attacks, these roaches can provide a lot of backup, and the lings can do a lot of damage, so I like that. Theovide setting up his 3rd right now, and just going to be very safe. He's throwing down a bunker. I like this positioning. You can kind of protect against run-bys here in the back, and then your army can reinforce here in the front if it needs to. Like the spore crawlers, you know, defending against stuff. This is definitely an all-in, though. There's lots of roaches right now. He's totally stopped droning. He has not, you know, put down these gas. He's building a ton of lings, and he's going to spend a lot of money. Actually, is a little bit too much gas. I don't even think he has... No, he does have a lair, so he should be able to put down a spire if he wants to. But he is building a lot of army right now. He's moving across the map, and this could be lights out, because there is not a siege tank here. There are not even medevacs. The first medevacs are coming out, but stim isn't even done, and you need stim. You need that kind of damage output to hurt those roaches. It looks like the roaches are making their way slowly across the map. He took out the Marine here, so it is not scouted very well, but you know what? Here comes the push, and it should be able to deny this base. Unfortunately, the base can just lift up, so it's not going to be too bad. But here comes the roaches into the base, taking it off. Thank you, hotkeys, for working. You know, he's going to lift off immediately. He's going to lose the bunker. He's going to lose a few of the units, but that's okay because it's worth it, man. You don't want to lose the whole base because of it. So just going to lift off and run all the way back home. and this base is going to pretty much fall, and Theovide is now going to be in a kind of soft contain. He's going to have to try to break out of it at some point, but Sasquatch can't really push in here. Stim is about done. Siege Tech is going to complete soon. Just throwing out some SCVs so he has an idea of what's happening, and lifting off in time to defend his wall. Picking off the SCV. Even letting this one be nice. It's a gimme. It's okay. But here is the army. It looks like Theovide is pushing his way in. He wants to retake his third base, and he should be able to do that now that Stim is completed. He also has 1-1 to match the 1-1 on these roaches, but a lot more lings are coming in here, and the roaches are starting to go to work against these marines. A very nice kite here, but they will be surrounded. No, they will not. These marines are doing a ton of damage, and they're going to start poking away at these roaches. The roaches are starting to fall. The medevacs are definitely helping here, and Sasquatch is not doing too well. This push is practically gone. What has he done back at home? He's starting to go towards that ling infestor stuff that he mentioned. He does have the hatchery here, setting up a fourth. What you can also do is set up a fifth. You can see he's planning to do that as well. Just needs the drone to get there in time. He's building a lot of banelings, man. He is building 18 banelings. Look at those guys. They're waiting to have some fun on the map. That's a lot of damage, and if he can get in here in position, the siege tanks have not been set up now, and if they don't get set up, he will not be able to snipe them as easily, and these marines will have to run. This base could be taken out. Luckily, not a lot of SCVs are here, but again, he is not. He just has droned up here, and here comes the push. The banelings do not have baneling speed yet. He's splitting very nicely against them. Maybe not so nicely. A lot of the marines are going down, and this bio is starting to be low, but will it be enough? It looks like, oh my gosh, moving some SCVs here into the base, and these lings are all that's going to live. But it was a pretty even trade right there. Not a lot of the economy was hurt. We can see that the harvester counts are fairly even. The income is in the Zerg's favor because he does have that additional gas. But income more lings. Sasquatch is really pushing for this. He is at 2-1, and you shouldn't push into when you have kind of small areas like this. You can't get the concaves as easily around the units, and he didn't have baneling speed there, which would have really made a difference. So Sasquatch now is working off 4 bases, and he's getting a 5th up as well. What he can start to do is just trying to starve out the Terran. The Terran will be dead once, will be starving once these mining bases go down. So all you got to do is start going to work, trading efficiently, and keeping the Terran from hurting your economy while you hurt theirs. But you know what? Theovide's actually playing very well. You can see his building placement is very, very strong. He's getting nice wall ins here. And Sasquatch is starting to get up into the hive tech. He has adrenal glands. He has a lot of infestors. In fact, he already has 6 on the map, 6 more in production. That's a lot of fungals. So we'll see how he chooses to utilize that. One thing I have to point out, Theovide has not really prepared against air at all, man. If a lot of muses flew in right now instead of infestors, he could take a lot of damage, but he is just playing very smart right now and not doing that. While Sasquatch is starting to drone up. He's at the 80. You want to float around 80. You don't want to go more than 80. And drops are starting to happen here. So here is the first drop. It's going to be shut down pretty easily by such a large group of infestors. Oh my gosh. Getting fungled, and it's going to be taken out by these infested Terrans, and the drop goes down. So that is a huge loss. But here comes the push for Theovide, and Sasquatch, is he ready? The siege tanks get set up in position. Sasquatch can see it because it's on the map, but you know what? He's just going to... Whew, hold on. I thought that was going to be a huge engagement. Why? Oh, there was another drop. So in comes Theovide. He's trying to do some damage. A nice nice scan right there, taking out a lot. And he's starting to go to work on this hatchery. But you know what? This hatchery is not that important. It was only 300 minerals, and so now Sasquatch can get really nice and set up, taking out a few of these marines. But will he be able to hold off here? It looks like he's just dancing in here. He's trying to eat up some of the siege tank fire, and here comes the lings doing so much damage. These marines are being eaten up by fungals. Oh my gosh, and the lings are getting surrounded on the siege tanks. The siege tanks are going down in such large numbers. These infestors have done more than enough work, and look at that. It's wiped out the entire army here. Sasquatch is ahead by almost 40 supply, 30 right now because it's catching up. But you know what? This is what's scary here. The 3-3 chitinous planing ultras coming out. Sasquatch can start kind of trading a little bit. These siege tanks don't have much upgrades. The Marines are only on 1, 2, and 3 Ultras do a lot of damage, and all that Sasquatch has to do is start hitting whenever he tries to take a fourth, and he'll be totally safe. And the Ultras are really what's scary here, and he'll be able to build a lot of Ultras. You can see a lot of that gas there. He's throwing down a Spire as well. Being able to tech into Broodlords is a safe backup plan. Looks like there was a base back here trying to do some damage. Looks like it maybe took out a handful of units, but there are some units here that took out the rest of those Marines that were in that medevac, and Sasquatch is playing very safe right now. He's playing very defensive, and he'll be able to defend against anything scary that comes out. I like this from Sasquatch. It looks like he's throwing out a double Spire somewhere. Why don't they have it where you can just click it up here and it jumps? I don't know. But double Spire means you can get double upgrades, and that's very good. Oh my gosh, so many Banelings, man. There's 29 Banelings in production. 4 Ultralisks are also coming out very soon. That means 5 are out on the field right now, and that's a lot of Ultras. This 4th is being set up. Will it be a planetary fortress in enough time? This army is starting to get scary, and the Ultras are coming out. They're going to be in position very shortly. The planetary has not been morphed yet. This is going to get very, very scary for Theovide right now, and his army is not very strong. It is not in position. And where are the medevacs? He can't even lift off. There's 2 medevacs right here. But here come the Ultras. They're moving into position. Here comes the rest of the Zergling Flood. The Banelings are moving into position. The Infestors are in just so high numbers. And the Ultras just wipe through the rest of it. These Banelings are moving into position as well. Taking out, moving into this gap here. Throwing out tons of Infested Terrans. Taking out so many units. And these Infested Terrans are going to start going to work on this base. The Ultras are continuing to move. Some of these Infestors get a little bit too ahead and get sniped by these Marauders. But just look at this count. The Infested Terrans are just so strong right now. And this Bioforce is going to have to kite all the way back. Theovide is plummeting in supply. He's all the way down to 85. And Sasquatch is moving in, throwing down some even more Fungals, more Infested Terrans. This is like the killing blow, man. If this is Mortal Kombat, this is a fatality. This is Luke Cage popping out your skull and blowing your brains out. Lings are just surrounding all of these units, and that is what you call Zerg in the late game, man. This is the end. You can see the supply is just so strong, being reinforced constantly by Lings and just taking out every single base here. There's not even a third to speak of. The 4th had to lift and run away with SCVs in it. That is a fatality in ZVT, man. That was Game 4. Such good play by these players. Let's go into Game 5. I'm excited. So here we go into Game 5. It's gonna be VoidRH against Theovide. These players have both been playing very, very well. I'm excited to see what happens. I hope you are as well. Theovide here as the yellow Terran in the bottom left of the map, and it's going to be a TVT on Daybreak against VoidRH, the red Terran in the top. Theovide just played an amazing TVZ. He unfortunately got killing blowed. He was stunned at the end of his Mortal Kombat round and just got demolished by Sasquatch, aka Luke Cage. Man, I love Mortal Kombat. Sub-Zero, God, that was a good game. Anyways, VoidRH here in the north is going to have a lot of shoes to fill. He did lose 2-0 to Lemonytang and Sasquatch, so this is his final match. He's going to have to bring it all back, and to try to get a win, he is 0-2, so a loss here makes him 0-3, bottom of the group. But Theovide is sitting at a nice 1-1. He won against Lemonytang in the first match of today. He just lost to Sasquatch, but he has been playing very, very well. Very impressive stuff coming out of this amateur player for Theovide, and it looks like he is just going to start macroing his little heart out, and he is going to have a great old time. He should throw down a barracks very, very shortly, and you can see he's scouting with this initial... Why does it focus on the rocks, man? Focus on the SCV. So VoidRH is building his base inside of his base, not at the ramp again, like he did against Lemonytang. So we'll see if it works out better for him this game. If I remember correctly, Lemonytang just did a really smart mech play. He had the Ravens. He transitioned to battle cruisers faster, and it definitely paid off in the end because VoidRH just couldn't keep up, and his Marines just couldn't damage the battle cruisers fast enough, and his Vikings got totally Yamato'd out the butt. So that is what happens in TVT late game, man. And VoidRH here is going to have to work against this annoying SCV for Theovide as both players secure their openings right now. It looks like Theovide is just a little bit further ahead, but that's okay. Gonna drink some water because VoidRH actually built his SCV first and is getting the orbital command earlier, so it's an earlier mule. You know, these kind of things all even out in the end, but this is what a build order is. And it looks like VoidRH, actually both players are throwing down an early CC here in TVT, so it's going to be very economic stuff coming out from these players as they start focusing on what they're going to build as they get into the late game. And it looks like VoidRH is just pure ahead, man. He's just ahead in supply. He has less workers, but he does have more Marines that'll come out in handy. He can push across the map if he chooses to. But it does look like he got supply blocked right now, which is horrible. So that kind of stuff always hurts. But here we go. Both players are just building. And it looks like VoidRH is going to start focusing on bioplay. Yep, there are the 3 barracks that is consistent with the 2 base Terran bio builds. And it looks like VoidRH or Theovide is going to start doing the same. He does have this double gas coming up. And actually, VoidRH has not gotten any gas. So Theovide is going to start getting that tech kind of up. We'll see what he does with his first 100 gas, which is always a tell as what's going to happen. We might even see the first 50 gas be spent on the tech lab or a reactor. We can all, see what happens. Actually, tech lab, 25 gas. We'll see what comes out of it, man. But you can see the orbital commands going down. Lots of good macro focus right now in these games, and that's okay. VoidRH still ahead in supply, and he's finally ahead, actually trying to catch up, but he does have an earlier orbital command. It all evens out in the end. I don't know why I'm talking about this kind of boring stuff. It's TVT, man. It's TVT. What are you gonna do? It looks like just build SCVs. So you can see this focus of the tech here for Theovide is gonna start looking towards bioplay. He threw down a 3rd barracks. He has the reactor. He has the tech lab going for combat shields. In the meantime, VoidRH's gas is just a little bit behind, so he's not going to have his early stuff. You can see the tech lab is not even completed yet. There's no reactor. And he's actually starting to stockpile quite a number of gas. We'll see if he chooses to throw down a factory. Maybe he'll get an earlier starport, but in fact, there's both this factory and the stim packs being researched. In the meantime, the 2nd reactor is coming out for Theovide, so he's going to play definitely more laid back. The stim packs are definitely a more aggressive decision. Excuse me. Because you can't really benefit from combat shields if you're in a bunker. So the combat shields are going to be very, very nice for this game. And we'll see if he chooses to do a timing of some sort. It looks like, again, getting a little bit supply block, but nothing crazy. Even getting an engineering bay. Well, both players finish their factories, and Theovide is going to start focusing on this marine production. He's already up at 5. Again, these barracks are not doing anything too special. Here is the starboard, though, and there's a reactor. So it's definitely going to be reactor medevacs at this point. And the same is going down for Theovide. So this is pretty darn standard. This is kind of like the 9-minute nothing happens build. So that's what's going to happen. It's been 9 minutes, man. But both players starting to get their stim pack on, get Terran infantry weapons level 1. Not much to say. This is it. This is the macro. This is the metagame right now, man. So, once these starports finish, we'll start to see medevacs being pumped out. Theovide does have a nice bank here to build a lot of medevacs in, and it looks like he's going to start moving across the map. He's going to take out these rocks, while on the other hand, VoidRH is starting to get an early 3rd. And I kind of like that. You know, you can kind of defend very well, especially if you hold these middles, and it looks like he's going to start trying to use this middle. And does he see these rocks being taken down? That's the question. He totally sees the rocks going down. See the little plinks of the marine fire against these rocks. You can see they take them down a lot faster than lings. That's okay. The medevacs are starting to be out here on the field, and both players are starting to make decisions. So see, 9 minutes, things start happening. Oh no, and here comes the push. A stim! Oh my gosh, taking out so many Marines for Theovide. And you know what? The medevacs are going to make a huge difference here, but the medevacs finally catch up for Theovide, and both players are kind of even right now only one Marine difference, and this Automaton 2000 accidentally clicked it. So that could have been much, much scarier, but you know the huge difference, VoidRH has a base. He has a third already set up. I don't even think that Theovide has built one. So that's going to be a huge benefit, and oh no, he's trying to expand right now with this SCV, but if this Marine kills it, it's going to just delay that expansion for so much longer. Theovide actually hiding the Marine. He saw the he saw the Marine with his SCV, and now he's going to take out the Marine and build the command center. So very funny kind of stuff there. But VoidRH, he has it done. He has the mules going to work. He's going to have a nice lead. The only thing Theovide had is he just finished siege tech. So if he pushes right now, he can get in very good condition. But he needs to do it like right now. He needs to do it in the next 30 seconds before the siege tank comes out and holds. Never mind, there's no siege tank for VoidRH. He only got the upgrade. So that's kind of silly. But I mean, it happens. But if you think you're being pushed, a siege tank will definitely help. Actually, he does have a siege tank. I just don't know where it is. There it is. It just finished. Boom. So Theovide getting set up right now. He's trying to get in here and stim. He's trying to do some damage. He's behind in supply. Oh my gosh, a huge siege tank hit there on all these Marines, actually. But the siege tank goes down and gets sniped, and you know what? That is huge. Theovide can now bide his time, but he's behind in supply. He's actually way behind in workers. VoidRH is way ahead. So Theovide is in dangerous position right now. He needs to kind of get a better position, maybe start poking away at these Marines. The siege tank, actually another one just finished, it's in great position right now. Will it be able to pick away at the siege tank? It should be able to. There's the scan. Oh my gosh, here's the run-in. Oh man, a huge concave on Theovide's units. The siege tank gets killed very quickly, and the last of the Marines falls, and all of these, oh my gosh, the medevacs are falling. 1, 2, 3, all 4 fall to the ground. That is a huge loss. But you know what? These Marines got in here to the base back here, and they will not be able to take out the orbital command. And a lot of these Marines actually, these SCVs actually made it out alive. So this push is not in good condition for Theovide. VoidRH is actually like 20 supply ahead, and oh my gosh, huge SCV Marine counts going down right here. Theovide is actually returning the favor, picking off 1, 2, and the third medevac falls as well. But here is the reinforcements. They should be able to take out these Marines successfully. And Theovide's just trying to get set up right now. He does take his base. He's finally back. He's way behind in workers, and he'll have to find a way to crawl back up into this game. And what he's going to need to do is some creative TVT stuff, man, because when you're behind, you're way behind. You can see Theovide is building he's trying to build to catch up, and the one thing that will allow him to catch up in this game is for VoidRH not to spend everything. And it looks like these Marines are starting to get a good advantage here, and they're running in. They're going to start taking out the siege tanks. Marines trying to run in and do some damage, but will it be enough? He loses all but 1 siege tank, and VoidRH is just slowly drying out Theovide because he's just keeping the tank count low, and VoidRH is starting to crawl up into the lead. You can see how many siege tanks actually just build another factory, man. He's trying to get in here, losing a siege tank very carelessly, actually. That was not very smart. And the position here at the Zelnaga Tower is actually very beneficial for Theovide. Oh my gosh, she's going to drop Marines on top of the siege tanks. It's going to do a lot of damage, taking out 1, taking out both siege tanks. And that's the kind of stuff you need to do, but don't lose the tanks, man. This is very close. Very scary stuff. Both players are playing on a knife's edge right now. And Theovide is just, you know, hanging in there, but he does not have the worker count to continue fighting this. You can see that the upgrades are starting to benefit. The vehicle level, weapons level 1 is going to be very beneficial for VoidRH, and I think that's really what's been keeping Theovide in the game right now. But he's 20 supply ahead. He is way behind in Marines. If Theovide gets if VoidRH gets 1 good attack in, he will basically win the game. And so both players trying to juke out the other. A nice Marine run-in right now. And will he get these siege tanks set up in position? It looks like he will, but pulling the SCVs, he's going to be able to do a ton of damage. The actual tanks are killing so many Marines, but the last of Theovide's Marines falls, and now it's just SCVs against 1 siege tank. Actually, the siege tank has 19 kills. That's a ton. It's 20 kills. It's commander. So that actually was huge. You can see that the supply count is a little bit more even. The harvester count is a little bit more even. And Theovide is just starting to even up now. That's the kind of stuff you need to even up in the game. He's way behind in Marines right now. Actually, never mind. They're totally even. So not too bad at all. And, oh, will he catch these tanks undefended? He's trying to get in position as well. These units are not in the greatest of position, but he loses one. He loses both tanks right now, but a huge flank. And Theovide's starting to get mopped up right now. VoidRH coming in from both sides, taking out all the units, taking out the tanks, and taking out all the medevacs. That was actually a huge loss. VoidRH is 50 supply ahead. That's the one engagement that I talked about, that if he wins, he basically wins the game. And Theovide right now is trying to take the 4th base in the front, but if he loses it, he's just way behind. And you can see VoidRH is not spending as well. Will he allow Theovide to set up this base? He really shouldn't. And he's just starting to do a slow push with these tanks. Oh, a huge hit there on these poor Marine buddies, while Theovide is actually, while VoidRH is actually setting up these gas right here. Very smart to do. And Theovide is gonna have to fight from behind right now to try to catch up. He's not going to be in a position to hit the army, hit an attack against VoidRH anytime soon. This is getting pretty scary, guys. For our hero Theovide, this will even up the match and actually could make it a 3-way tie. Oh, losing a medevac there carelessly. And VoidRH is actually just pulling back. He is in the lead right now, but if he doesn't attack soon, he might lose. But here is a medevac push, and oh my gosh, it's going straight into the turrets, losing a ton of turrets right there. But VoidRH is getting set up right here. He's going to... No, he's really hesitant. One thing, he should be totally taking this base. He should be taking a lot of bases. He has a lot of money right now. But he is trying to get in position to just do a lot of damage. And here are the tanks in position. Stemming in, he's trying to catch the planetary. He has a very nice concave, but here are a lot of tanks right now doing a ton of damage. The planetary is going to finish, and this is going to be very bad for Theovide. These Marines are going to move in here, and they're going to be totally undefended. They're going to do a lot of damage, taking off a ton of SCVs. Oh my gosh, lots of SCVs falling, immediately lifting this orbital command. He's going to try to save it, but will it be enough? There's only one siege tank here. In fact, I think he's totally going to lose the orbital command, which is huge. But he's using these dropped Marines again to hopefully take out the siege tanks, and he almost takes out 2, but he does not take out any. So that's bad, actually. VoidRH is actually doing very well. Denying this base is exactly what he needs to end this game, and it looks like he'll be able to do it. He just needs to slowly push down into this base here. If he can take out this 4th, he'll be in fine shape, and he has so many more units. He has like 20 more Marines, he has 1 more tank. He does not have the Vikings, but he also has a ton of medevacs, and that's going to help a lot. Oh my gosh, he's moving his tanks in the wrong direction, taking a ton of fire right there. Not the kind of stuff you want. He is just not committing himself to this push that he needs to do, and Theovide is definitely committing himself, getting a very nice position right here. But the siege tanks are going to start working on his own units. The Marines are starting to overcome Theovide, and this red just army is swarming through, killing so many siege tanks there. That's really bad. You can see the siege tank count. Theovide is now 5 siege tanks behind, but a huge drop right here, denying the space. Will it take out the orbital command? It looks like it's getting repaired at the last second, which is very important, and this drop is going to be cleaned up, so the 3rd is totally safe, which is not good for Theovide, and this army is starting to just conquer VoidRH. Theovide has not retaken his 3rd, which he should have done a long time ago. But this command center is only finishing now, and Theovide is going to try to drop to success. He does have his eyes set on these 2 bases down here, but look at the size of this push, moving into the base, moving into the 4th of Theovide. These Marines are just going to crush through most of the things that he sees, taking out the Viking. Here's the planetary fortress, but oh my gosh, the siege tanks are set up in position. They're going to start shelling down on this PF, and there's not much you can do at that point. Even the SCVs are trying to get in on the fun, but this is a bad position when you have siege tanks being set up. Even more siege tanks up here being just put up, and he's going to start poking away at this base. Theovide's going to try to move into position, but he's 50 supply behind. It's not looking good for our Swedish player. Relentless Heroes is being very well represented right now by VoidRH. He's playing very smartly and just getting in here. There is a drop in the main of VoidRH, taking out a barracks. Not too much of a reaction, but here are some of the Marines. They're going to try to take it out, and you know what? Theovide is just moving right on by. This could be a base trade. The Planetary Fortress falls. This is starting to look bad, but if Theovide comes ahead in a base trade situation, he could very well win. But that's a lot of Marines to counter. Running Marines into this tank line. These tanks did not get set up in time. The Marines are going to chase them all the way back to the base, killing them almost immediately. These tanks are going to start going to work as well, but these Marines are not reacting. They need to be attacking right now. Theovide is not looking in good shape. The drop did get cleaned up by these Banshees and stuff, and here comes the Yellow Swarm moving in to take out this third, but these army for VoidRH is just getting in here. The supply is 80 in favor of VoidRH, and he's going to clean up a lot of these production facilities here in the front of Theovide's. Even taking out this refinery with SCVs. There's some Marines up here to prevent any sort of expansion that this SCV is going to have a hard time to take it out. And if Theovide can take out this base down here, maybe he'll have a shot. But you know what? Oh my gosh, a huge drop going into the main, and that's not the kind of stuff you want to see. These Marines are doing a ton of damage, but you know what? There's enough siege tanks here to take out a lot, and all that's left are a few units. These siege tanks are going to start doing serious damage. These SCVs had to be run out of this base back here. And Theovide's army is just down to a couple of Marines. These siege tanks are able to pick off practically anything that comes out of these production facilities. Theovide's trying to get some Marines up in position, but it looks like he's just thrown in the towel. GG, he says, and that's the end of the game. Alright guys, we're in the last game of the day. It's going to be Sasquatch, the 2-0 Zerg, who's been playing just killer ZVTs, and he's going to be playing against Lemonytang, the UK Terran, who's 1-1 right now. A win today could mean the difference between moving on to the playoffs and getting kicked out after the first round. Of course, after these games, all the players today get 3 more games to improve their records, and then the top 8 after those 6 games will move on to the round of 8 and the 8-player bracket, which will be much more normal than this first round. So, first off, I gotta say, super excited about this game, because not only are these the 2 best players in the amateur bracket, at least by ladder ranking, they've also been playing very well today, but it's also on Atlantis spaceship. This map is actually quite crazy, man. So you have a normal expansion. You can wall it in between this area right here, and then you can either take an early third here in the back door, or you can go up here in the front. And this forward expansion not only is totally fully mining, it's more open, and it has these double gas here, but it has actually triple gas, and this is a rich Vespene geyser. That's 7 gas per trip. It's behind these line of sight blockers, so make sure to look, man, because it's there. It's just waiting to be taken. So very good stuff. It is vulnerable from attacks on the low ground, but you know what? 3 gas on one base, actually like 3.5 gas on one base is just amazing. So let's see what these players do. We'll see if they choose to go along that path. It looks like Sasquatch's sound went out there a little bit, but that's okay, because you know what? He's just gonna build up. It looks like he is, yep, he's gonna do a early hatchery, probably on 15. He should be sending out the drone. There it goes, and that guy is just gonna turn into a little hatchery. He's gonna move on down, and there we go with the hatch, and he should shortly put down a pool once he has that 200 minerals. So in the meantime, Marine Prince is actually stockpiling a lot of minerals. He's not throwing down any gas. I'm inclined to believe this is going to be an early CC build, and with this long rush distance, I'm not surprised at all, and especially because, you know, he scouted a little bit. Never mind, he didn't scout at all, but he didn't see any lings on the map, at least. There's a scout going out. But he's going to throw down, yep, you can see his 300 minerals. It should be upwards to 400. Spawning pool's already on the way, but he's getting a Marine out, so he'll be totally fine. Kind of like that move on this map. You can get 1 bunker down and really defend everywhere if you need to. And it looks like this Overlord is moving around. There it is. He's just going to scout around and see what's going on. He's seeing this gas taken. Will he be able to see if the second gas has been taken or not? If he doesn't see either gas up. He may just believe it's an early expand, which indeed it is. Meanwhile, Sasquatch's hatchery is about to finish. So he's already preparing, getting his drones down there. They're going to go hard to work. And that's about it. It's actually going to be a very nice macro game, which I'm really excited to see, as both these players have shown that they can withstand macro pressure. They can keep up in the game. Both players, you can see their harvester counts are very, very even right now. And should say fairly even. Once queens come out, of course, it will go slightly in Sasquatch's favor. But of course, those mules, those tricky guys, just getting all that money, it's going to be nice. So it looks like there is a proxy SCV down here, might just be there to scout, but the important thing is that there are 6 Zerglings going across the map. Will they be able to do any damage? It looks like there is only 1 Marine right now, and this building may be forced to cancel and lift off. He'll definitely be able to hold at the ramp without banelings, without speed. It's not going to be too dangerous, but this bunker is just a little bit too late, and of course there's the Lings getting up there in the base. Will they take out the Marine, of course, lifting the supply depot before any damage can happen? But these Lings are being forced now to just take off, pick away at these SCVs, and now with the orbital command finished, it can lift shortly. Oh no, dropping a mule there, it's not going to get any good mining done. And that's about all she said for that. God, I hate when casters say that. That's all she said. But it looks like we have Hellions coming down. We do have a starport. It does not get scouted at all, and there's going to be some fancy SCV block right here. But it looks like he's hoping to get this base on. He's checking the third, and in the meantime, this SCV indeed does check this third positioning. Quite a good scout. Going to poke away at that hatchery. And this game is just going to transition into a later economic build now that the Hellions are out. The Terran player, Lemonytang, should be very safe. In the meantime, Sasquatch has gotten 4 queens up. It looks like he is going for roaches. His gas is starting to grow as well. He has not gotten Zergling speed, but that's okay in this early part of the game, especially when you're going towards roaches. It could be a 3-base roach bust, which I really would like to see. This SCV did quite enough, like maybe 25 damage to that base. Pretty impressive, man. That's okay. So, Lemonytang is going to be working on his economy. It looks like he's going to start trying to wall in at this natural here. In the meantime, what's coming out of this? It looks like, ooh, Cloak Banshees. I like that build. There's a lot of free space to work around with your Banshees around here. You can get behind, and there's practically no danger of being picked off by queens when you're way this far back. And you can do a lot of damage if you harass correctly. Of course, it's all going to depend on what kind of tech Sasquatch goes. If he goes for Muta's, Banshees are actually way vulnerable. There was an explosion here. There's like explosions in the background. This is really cool. I never noticed that before. Anyways, so it looks like Zergling speed's going down. Tons of drones. You can see this has way swung in Sasquatch's favor in the drone count, but these Hellions are going to be able to do a little bit of damage. It looks like trying to get some kills here. It looks like they roast maybe a couple Zerglings. They might start trying to poke away at these queens, but with 2 queens here, it's going to be fairly safe. And without Zergling speed, you can see this little roasted Ling there is not going to have a great day. But that's alright. It looks like a little Overlord had sacrifice here to get in here and see what's going on. Will it be able to scout the third? And indeed it does before it dies. So that's going to be some nice knowledge for Sasquatch. You know, so it'll be a little bit safer to expand and drone up at this third. He's going to be a little bit more safe from that kind of stuff. It looks like the first Banshee is out, but where is it? It's right there. It's getting kills. It already has 3. Oh my gosh, just poking away at these poor drones. What's going to happen? There are 2 queens here, but the Spore Crawler is not close to being finished yet. And oh my gosh, all of these Hellions are getting here. They're doing so many kills. Look at these barbecue drones. They are just falling left and right. Hellions are going down, but not soon enough. Look at how many workers were killed. 18 in that engagement. What a smart move for Lemonytang, and he even gets his Banshee out safely, so he can start repairing on that, and the second one is actually going to be right here. So that is a lot of kills. Look at how much that's even the base. You can see the income is way in Marine Prince's favor here. Marine Prince Lemonytang, don't forget it. So that was a great engagement. All of those drones got roasted. That's the kind of stuff I like to see. It looks like he's setting up for a second attack, which I love. You can see that Sasquatch has been forced to just throw down so many Spore Crawlers to defend against these Banshees. And you know what? He never even has to attack that area with them, and it looks like he is not going to poke in here too close with the Hellions, but they're going to be able to at least pick off this Queen. The Queen trying to poke away at the Banshee, but it's not going to be too much. Now the Banshee's going to work on the Roaches while the Hellions are just roasting more drones. Such a great denial. 6 more workers killed there. It looks like this Queen is going to be able to get maybe a few more kills. Oh, these drones are not having a good day. 4 more die in that last engagement. And will he escape with this Banshee? He does indeed, so both Banshees staying alive there, while these drones are just roasting. 29 drones killed. That is a not insignificant number, and in fact, Lemonytang's way caught up, and he has his 3rd finish. He's already floating it over to get his 3rd base. Where's his tech? Looks like he's going towards Marine Tank. No, he's going towards Mech Tank. He has Hellions coming out. He has Siege Tanks. How many factories does he have? Look at he has 4 factories. He's going huge mech play right now, and he's going for more and more Banshees. That's going to be very good against these Roaches that are coming out. Looks like there is some Infestors coming out to defend, and we'll see if that is very successful for him. Looks like a very smart Ling run by here will be able to delay this 3rd for a while. These Hellions are a little bit slow. There they go to defend. Unfortunately, with the Overlord creep spread, you can always do nice delaying tactics for that. Will this command center gets down? It's not in the optimal position, but that's okay. You can still mine with it until you get rid of this pesky Overlord. Missile turret down there, and it looks like, oh my gosh, there's so many Hellions Banshees right now. There's 4 out on the field, a 5th one coming up, and they all have cloak, folks, so this is going to be crazy. It looks like Sasquatch is now taking this prize possession here. The rich Vespine Geyser, it even has this little fancy mining thing going on, but look at what's happening here. There's Roaches moving across the map. There are Zerglings going to be scrambling across as well, but you know what? I think that, I think Marine Prince is in good position. He has all of his tech done. You can see he's working on Terran weapons level 2. Meantime, a lot of Roaches are coming out, a Spire and a Hive, which infers to me there's going to be some Broodlord planning on the way. Of course, Sasquatch is trying to get his economy firmly stabilized. Look like this 3rd base is a little under drone, but that's not too bad. Unfortunately, he's just losing more Overlords there. He's getting supply blocked. Marine Prince is starting to push ahead in supply, so surprise, surprise, Sasquatch, who looked like he was in a position to 3-0 this group, is not looking so good right now, and this game could turn deadly if things don't turn in his favor very soon. Once Marine Prince, it looks like he's even setting up for the 4th base, maybe even putting a planetary fortress here for space control, but Marine Prince is doing very, very well, even lifting off to reposition this command center, perhaps prematurely. This creep is still here, but that's okay. And this game's gonna start moving on. Looks like a lot of Corruptors are coming out. This Hive is almost done, but you know what? There's no Greater Spire done because the Hive just finished, so perhaps a little premature with those Corruptors, but they may just be there to defend against the Banshees. Of course, Corruptors will absolutely smash Banshees, but they can just cloak, man. So this should be very, very interesting in how this game develops, but the Banshees are going to be able to do a ton of damage to Roaches. We'll see if they get into the base and start hammering away at these smart stuff. Oh my gosh, a lot of Roaches catching these Hellions unprotected, and this is going to be down to the Siege Tanks to hold this Roach bush, though the Banshees are here as well. There's not going to be any anti-air here, though, for Marine Prince, so he might lose all these Banshees if he attacks. Unfortunately, it looks like the Roaches are moving in here. They're doing a ton of damage. The Siege Tanks are not in optimal position, and it looks like he's going to have to rely on these Banshees to defend. The Hellions are doing a great job of holding, but they're all going to fall, and the tanks are now in slightly better positions. I think that was actually a pretty smart engagement from Marine Prince. He held it very well, and while Sasquatch does have this base here mining, he doesn't really have an answer to the Cloak Banshee play that Marine Prince is putting out, and he even has 6 now. He's getting Thors. Lots of Lings coming out on the map. He did reduce the Hellion numbers by quite a bit. There's only 6 left, so they'll be able to be swarmed if they don't be very careful. But you know what? Marine Prince is getting this oh-so-important 4th base here with the 3 gas and the important rich Vespine Geyser that Sasquatch is now going to start getting to work on. But you know what? This is actually going to be pretty deadly if he doesn't start hurting this army size, because he has maybe delayed Marine Prince's buildings, but his army size is getting out of control. He's even going for Ravens again. We see an Ultra and Greater Spire going down at the same time. Blue Flame is just roasting these Hellions, the Zerglings, and all these Hellions have a couple kills on them. Of course, using the map to go around and get better positioning. It looks like here comes the move-in, and these Lings are moving right into the Hellions here, and they're just going to die almost instantly. And this push again gets forced out. Sasquatch is 50 supply behind. It's not looking good, but oh my god, he just built 6 Ultralisks, and that is going to be the meat to his sandwich. He is going to have a ton of stuff going on. His upgrades are on the works as well, and he definitely saved up for that moment, just building a ton of units. He has the Greater Spire almost complete with Corruptors. He'll have a super late game army very shortly, but you know what? There's a lot of Thors on the field. There's lots of tanks. There's lots of Hellions. And if he doesn't protect his bases well enough, he could end up losing everything and be unable to reinforce. In fact, it looks like both players are kind of at a standstill right now. They're not sure what to do. Of course, these Banshees are going to just provide so much harassment later in the game. It looks like catching a few of these Roaches with the Blue Flame Hellion. It's not going to do too much damage, but that's okay. Even more Corruptors coming out, and Sasquatch, both players actually, are close to being maxed. This game is going to get deadly, folks, because this is where it starts to get crazy. Looks like Seeker Missile is even being researched. I haven't casted a single game with Seeker Missile. I'm very excited. This is very high level. I'm super pumped to see where this goes. And with all these Banshees, the Hellions, the Vikings even, to prepare for the Broodlords, which there they are. It looks like here's the Ultralisks, and this could start getting where people are attacking. I don't know. There's lots of spread out units, though, for Marine Prince, so if there's a push in, it could do a lot of damage. Look at just doing so much DPS to this army. But it looks like Sasquatch is preparing to move in and do a lot of damage. Some Lings moving in here. They're not going to be able to do too much damage. They get killed almost immediately. Taking out a couple of SCVs, but it's not going to be enough right now. It looks like he's starting to attack his own units. He's getting rid of the Roaches, it seems, because he doesn't like Roaches. He doesn't like the extra supply spent on them, and he's going to probably start getting more Broodlords with that freed up supply. No, he just got 60 Zerglings, so his army is going to be super prepared, but will it be enough to take out Marine Prince's supply-capped army? You can see he's going to start stockpiling minerals. He's taking these bases, and he'll be on 5 bases right now. It looks like Sasquatch is sitting very firmly on 4. He's not trying to take bases across the map, which I'm kind of against. You can just, you know, throw down hatcheries when you have this much minerals, you know, just to defend. It looks like Marine Prince is actually using that tactic. If he gets planetary fortresses down there, it's just helpful to hold space and to prepare for eventualities and just waste some of that Zerg minerals, especially because he's not going for additional bases. Looks like the army's on the move here, though. They're going to try to target down this 4th base, but you know what? There is a planetary fortress here. There are a lot of siege tank. There's even missile turrets. Will it be enough time to prevent? It looks like this one Hellion, of course, is being a hero there and just defending for so long. It looks like Marine Prince even throwing away some of the SCVs, but this army is looking scary. It's starting to move out here. Will it be enough? One thing I would like to see is moving the Broodlords in position here to take out the space from the bottom. It forces the Terran to move around either this way or through the front, and could leave him very vulnerable. Looks like this is crazy. Oh, you silly players! Trying to take out a queen with SCVs is just about the silliest thing I think I've heard of. But you know what? It's starting to get absolutely nuts. It looks like Marine Prince is starting to lean towards battle cruisers. He's even getting Yamato cannons. He's getting the battle cruiser upgrades. But here comes the Zerg. Oh, never mind. Nope, it's happening. Here comes all these Lings. They're swarming in here, and this planetary fortress is doing a ton of damage, and the Ultralisks are in. They are in. These tanks are doing a ton of damage as well. This planetary fortress, how many kills does it have? It has taken out so many of those Lings, but you know what? Will it be enough? Here come the Ultras. This base may as well hold, but the Ultras are doing a lot of damage in here, and you know what? Sasquatch just lost about 70 supply, and he did not hurt the economy very well, and these Vikings are in very nice numbers. The battlecruisers are here, the Ravens as well. Sasquatch is going to have to start spending some of this money to keep up. It looks like Marine Prince is a little money short. He actually maybe shouldn't have thrown away all those SCVs, because he only has 40 SCVs right now. He probably doesn't have enough mules to support this kind of spending. Where are all of his mules, actually? I don't know where all of his mules are. But he needs more. They're there. So they're going to work. He's starting to make money. The both players are supply locked at about the same time, and I feel like this is going to be a pretty long game because both players have very solid economies and very strong armies. They're not going to be able to do too much damage to each other. It looks like this planetary fortress. These planetary fortresses are just going to do so much damage and delay these attacks for so long. It looks like this planetary fortress will fall, but that's okay. It looks like here come Banshees. Will they be able to take out these Ultralisks? Look at all of that damage, taking one down to half health so quickly. But the Ultras get out alive. That's okay. And Marine Prince's money started to stack up. He's getting those battle cruisers. And the funny thing is, battle cruisers may not be the best transition right now. There's a lot of corruptors here on the map for Sasquatch. And perhaps, I don't know, maybe like even Marine drops right now would just be so strong and just force. It looks like there's a ton of infestors as well. This is super late game, man. I don't even know if there's a Ling on the map. There's only 9. There's 1 Roach. This is all not tier 1 stuff, folks. Banshee's going to start moving in here, trying to pick off a lot of damage. Of course, there's these large number of corruptors. Here is a move-in from the back for drones. They're going to die very quickly to these siege tanks in great position. But this is kind of the wall of death here, and here comes the move-in. Infestors going down almost immediately, but they catch a huge number of Banshees. They're going to do a lot of damage here. But look at those Thor volleys just taking out so many flying units. Marine Prince actually did not lose a single unit there, it looks like, from the supply count. And his battlecruiser coming out. He's building 2 Ravens at a time, too. He's going for air Terran, man, and he has a huge ground backbone to rely on. These weapons for the these upgrades for the mech units are just so powerful. And here come more corruptors, but they're not going to be too great. These Thors are going to work on them, and I'm not sure that's the greatest decision. He's just throwing away corruptors right now, and he's teching to Hydralisks. This just got crazy, folks. It's not Heart of the Swarm, but you saw it here first. Late game, ZVT, Hydralisks. And actually 3 Hydralisks from the look of it, and actually this creep threat isn't too bad. It's not the greatest for this point in the game, but it's going to be good enough to move in here and try to attack. But you know what? The Hydralisks are going to be super weak against those Blue Flame Hellions, so if he commits too much of them, Marine Prince can just build a lot of Blue Flame Hellions to do a lot of damage. It looks like Sasquatch has taken a proxy base way down here in the south. It could be very weak, but there's a lot of Ultralisks too, and these Ultras are totally 5-3. They are going to town with their upgrades. The Vikings are coming out in number. It looks like Marine Prince is just sitting back, and he's going to go for mass battle cruisers. Look at all of these starports going to work. And I can't really argue with that. It's pretty smart. It looks like Ultra's moving here into this third again. It hasn't even been supply blocked, but the Ultras are going to take a lot of damage trying to take out this base. Moving out to repair a little bit too late. The siege tanks are doing a ton of damage as well. Here come the Banshees, the hero Banshees. What a Banshee. Taking out 2 Ultralisks like they were made out of paper. And there goes another Ultralisk. Here comes Ultras into the main. Will it be enough? Probably not. These Thors here took out something. They have a ton of kills between them. So the real problem here is sacrificing Ultralisks to take out SCVs, but it's not really the backbone of the economy here. He needs to take out the gas production. He does have a lot of Marines, mules that he can spend whenever he needs to get a lot of money. So it's kind of an awkward position to attack into. Marine Prince should be very good against this, though it looks like Sasquatch is trying to feint here and get a lot of Broodlords. In fact, look at that, 15 Corruptors. He's definitely going to get a lot of Broodlords, but it may be just in response to try to take out these battle cruisers, but they have Yamato cannon as well, and they are starting to get upgrades as well. They have their 1-1 upgrades. 2-2 is completing right now for battle cruisers. You heard it here. And there's also the building armor. Do you even know what building this is on? It's on the engineering bay, folks. That's where this upgrade is found. It's just called Terran Building Armor. I don't know why they don't have something smarter for it. But Lemonytang is starting to go just crazy with these upgrades, and he's going to have a nice little wall here to defend against it. Here it looks like Sasquatch is moving in to sit here and not do anything. He has a lot of Hydralisks. He has a lot of Infestors. He's spreading out. He has Broodlords. He has a few Ultralisks. His 1 Ultralisk. But he's going heavy into Hydralisks. That's very weird. I'm wondering what his intention here is. And he may try to poke away at these Infestors with a Yamato cannon. Can't go wrong there, but it does get mind controlled with the neural parasite, and gonna be used to lure out a Thor. But oh my gosh, a huge volley there, doing a lot of damage to those corruptors. Here comes a single Viking just to go ahead and scout a missed fungal growth there. This is like the battle of the century here, where neither player is sure how they want to invest. It looks like a single Banshee here is going to work, and leaks out another fungal, but these Banshees, it looks like neither player knows how to break this, but you know what? 3/3 bio upgrades are almost done. Look at all these Ravens. They have the Seeker Missile upgrade. This is actually going to get pretty darn nuts. I'm not sure who's going to win. I'm not sure who's even going to do damage. All these Corruptors are moving in, but they're being taken out by the Thor fire very, very rapidly. The Ravens are here as well. There goes a Hunter Seeker Missile doing so much damage, taking out so many of those units. Hunter Seeker Missile. Wow, that was awesome. And that did not go in Sasquatch's favor either, but you know what? Sasquatch is starting to just get the mining down that he needs to get done, and this is what Marine Prince needs to start doing. He needs to start taking out these bases around the map so he can just starve out Sasquatch, because Sasquatch really can't move in and do much damage right now. He needs to be focusing on taking out all of these mining bases. They're barely defended as well. You can just see how many... Oh my gosh, the rich gas geyser is totally gone. Yeah, and these Banshees are going to start doing a lot of damage. I really agree with this decision. Just look at all of these drones are going to start going down. 58. Look at these workers killed here. This is actually pretty nuts. Is there any detection? There's a ton of Corruptors, but is there any detection? I don't think so. There's an Overseer being morphed somewhere, but this is exactly what Lemonytang needs to do. It looks like the Overseer gets morphed just at the nick of time. And these last two Banshees are not going to be long for this world, but not before doing a ton of damage. And what Marine Prince needs to do, he needs to take out this base, take out this base. He has the money for Hellions. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hellions coming out. Look at all of these Hydralisks. This is very, very interesting. He's very reliant upon these Hydralisks. Oh my gosh, he's sacrificing Infestors for Hydralisks. What in the world is going on? He has so many Broodlords. He's really scared about the army here. It looks like a very smart Infestor usage here. Oh my gosh, catching a lot of the battlecruisers out of position. This is not good. Battlecruiser 1, 2 falling very, very soon. Yamato cannons coming out as well. But there are those radio Hunter Seeker missiles doing so much damage. Run away! Run away! There's the Hunter Seeker. Oh, it explodes anyway. It's gonna do so much damage. Picking off the Ravens as they come. This is actually gonna do a lot of damage. These Hydralisks are starting to get in here and do a lot, but will they be enough? They're picking away at the battlecruisers. Oh my gosh, look at how much they're roasting. Don't go Hydralisks, folks. Look at the supply drop. Sasquatch is way behind, but will he be able to push down this base? It could be very important. It looks like even landing Vikings to deal with these Hydralisks. They fall so quickly, and Marine Prince is 60 supply up after that engagement, and Sasquatch is forced to rebuild a lot of Corruptors here. Both players are running dry, and that move here to take out a lot of those drones was definitely beneficial. It looks like some Infestors here are going to do some harass with infested Terrans. You can see there are those little buddies to come out and shoot down the mules, which is going to be hugely detrimental to Marine Prince. But you know what? Marine Prince is supply capped right now, and he has a lot of units right now. He should maybe start trying to repair up this mech army. Very useful to have when you do that. But look at, you know, Hellions are coming out, siege tanks. He can start doing a siege push, and it could be very, very good. Oh my god. Look at all of these Corruptors. He really hates Ravens and stuff, but is there enough energy? It doesn't look like there's enough for another Hunter Seeker missile, but these are grouped up. Will the Thors be enough? It looks, excuse me, like all of these Corruptors are going to be enough to take out this Air Force, but there's Yamato cannons going down. Vikings are still high in number. Marine Prince is totally supply capped right now. Sasquatch only has 80 supply. He's trying to rebuild units. He's building Lings and Infestors. But that was not a very good engagement. Even these Banshees are still alive. He can go back and harass this base if he wants to. Looks like he's going to check down here first, but there's not going to be anything there. This is not looking good for Sasquatch. He's just so running dry. You can see Marine Prince's money is starting to skyrocket. And I'm liking where Marine Prince is right now. He should be able to close this out if he continues holding this area. This is proved to be the very important area to hold in this kind of matchup. Of course, this was a weak spot earlier in the game, but he has these sensor towers now, so he can see practically where any Zerg movement is that would affect him. Maybe you can put one out here to get even more vision, but these Banshees are back. They're doing damage. Oh my gosh, they have so many kills among them, and the Corruptors are here now again, but look at those guys. They're just being so mean. Looks like they took out 20 or so workers there. These Banshees don't even have cloak anymore. They're just gonna move right into a spore crawler. That's okay. But here they can hold position right out here and kill even more drones. It's just not going to be enough. Sasquatch is relying on these proxy bases. If this one gets taken out, it could mean the end of the game because it's practically one of the last remaining. Look at, he's long distance mining from this base as well. So, oh my gosh, and Hellions are moving in to take out this base. Will Hellions be able to kill this army? Looks like the Infestors are moving in to deny, but all these roaches are moving. All the drones are being roasted. They're on the Congo line to mine, but it's not going to be enough. And oh my gosh, if these Hellions move into, looks like they get fungled, and they're going to be roasted down as well, but not before the fungals kill the last Hellion, and it explodes in a cloud of dust. But oh my gosh, even more Hellions taking out all these drones. 120 drone kills at this game. Sasquatch is 140 supply behind right now. I can't help but feel that Marine Prince could A-move at this point and just take out everything, because what are these Corruptors going to do against tanks, man? This is really the only standing army that can engage on the ground. There's just a bunch of Lings somewhere, but they probably didn't do too much. Oh my gosh, Hellions have taken out a base. Hellions have successfully killed a hatchery. Looks like the Infestors are trying to move in here to take out this base, but you know what? It's a missile turret and a planetary fortress. You don't want to move units in there. Oh my gosh, Sasquatch, you're losing all of your drones right now. You have Corruptors, but what does it count for? Absolutely nothing. That's roasty toasty, folks. Not even sure. It looks like the Infestors got a mean hand there, and Sasquatch GG's. That's the end of the game. That is the end of the series. I'll be right back with the final results of the match. Alright, so our final results are Sasquatch and Lemonytang with 2-1, and Theovide and VoidRH with 1 and 2. All these players have 3 more games to go before the round 1 matches are over, so they'll be fighting to see what they can do in the divisional brackets. I look forward to it. This is the Union Settlement Cup with AlphaFerg. I'll see you guys later.